Hello everyone, welcome to another tarot reading. So this found you whenever it needs to find you. It's a timeless message, so pay attention. This will find you basically in divine timing or when you're ready to hear this message. So we're gonna see what Spirit has to say. I'm gonna turn a little bit more because otherwise it will fall off the bed. Today's the last day. My parents are leaving today, so we're gonna go back into the kitchen later for the next video. We're starting off with the Hierophant. Okay, what's the next card? And the Seven of Cups. Ooh, sorry. See, this is what I mean. But yeah, Seven of Cups and the Hierophant. Okay, you need to approach your dreams and goals differently. Okay, this is kind of like similar to the last message. I think it was the last channel that I did, where you're supposed to do things differently than what you grew up with believing or people telling you, because you have a different soul path, right? So you cannot take on the same hustling mindset that family has, or maybe your grandparents or whoever it is. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so financial stability and a huge chunk of money is coming your way. This is why you need to do things differently. So you cannot operate from the same mindset, basically. You have this Four of Swords. Rebuilding here. I don't know why I wanted to focus on my little Japanese charm that my friend got me when she went to Japan, but maybe, I don't know, maybe you're Japanese, or if I remember correctly, it said like in like the kanji something along the lines of I wish you a lot of luck on your path or your life. So maybe that's the energy that you need to adapt. So basically what I'm hearing is lucky girl or lucky guy syndrome. That's the energy that we want to bring into. Then also maybe there is like I'm seeing like a necklace, an amulet, something that was passed down to you. You could have had spiritual people in your life, family wise. Which bloodline comes very strong? Like there were family members in your life, or no, well, does not have to be in your life specifically, but like down the ancestor line, there were very powerful people in your family tree. Basically, they're saying you need to step from what you know now and back into the old ways, basically. So Hierophant here can be legacy as well as tradition and teaching. Then the Ten of Pentacles is legacy. It's literally what is being left behind. So they have that knowledge and they want you to tap into that knowledge. We have the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck. This can literally help you achieve those dreams, have things manifest quicker. I'm just hearing like your ancestors have a lot of wisdom for you. We have the Ace of Wands. Okay, so I feel like this is literally your ancestors telling you, take inspiration from us, but improved, you know, because obviously nowadays we are more modern, we have more knowledge at our fingertips. Definitely though, it's easier for you to find information basically nowadays. I mean, especially now. I remember when I started like the witchy stuff, it was so difficult to find information online. Now you can basically find anything. I'm still struggling with traditional folk magic, regional, from the area I am from in Spain. It is probably easier now to find like overall Spain folk magic, which is, you know, magic tied with a little bit of some Christianity and all that. But like in general, like regional magic, is so difficult to come by because nothing was written down. They just taught, you know, mouth to mouth. So basically, listen to what they're channeling, listen to what they're telling you. There's a little intuitive nudges of doing something a specific way. Is your ancestor saying, this is gonna boost whatever it is that you want to. We have the 9 of Swords and then the 7 of Swords. Okay, so they want to alleviate that energy, that anxiousness, that uncertainty of how should I move forward, how should I do, what's the next step, what does my path look like. They really want to support you. 6 of Wands and then the Queen of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. Very interesting energy. So basically these cards here are saying they see the progress you've been doing. They love that you're putting yourself on the pedestal, that you're holding yourself to a high standard, very valuable, something that they are female ancestors coming through, so you might be female as well watching this, where they appreciate the feminism we have nowadays, that we as women have more rights, but they're also saying you're not tapping into your full potential of the divine feminine. That's what I'm hearing. So there's things to adapt, there's things to change. You could come from a lineage of very powerful women, is what I'm hearing. And they're saying please tap into that potential. Like, unlock your most powerful self. I should have gotten the High Priestess Oracle deck with me up here, but it's okay. We have some more cards here. 5 of Pentacles. You need to shed a part of you, some limiting beliefs. Could be like, I'm sensing that there's some like generational trauma around the church. So you could have like some religious trauma, or just never really fit into that little box, you know. For example, me, I was born Catholic. The whole family is Catholic. I mean, coming from Spain, it's obvious, but my parents, for example, are so non-religious. We only went to church when we needed to for school preparation stuff, otherwise nothing. My grandma, on the other hand, always, every Sunday went to church and all that. So maybe you also never felt that you fit in. That's because you're not meant to fit in. You're meant to lead, is what I'm hearing. You're supposed to be a leader in this lifetime. You're supposed to set an example, set kind of the stepping stone for everyone else coming next, you know. You are kind of like, what I'm hearing, are rebuilding the legacy for the women. And it's very interesting because we have the High Priestess here, and didn't I just say before that I want the High Priestess deck? I should have gotten it. That's the energy. Maybe your ancestors were also High Priestesses in the sense of the matriarchs, the one that decided things, the one that led it. For example, on my mother's side, it was my great aunt that when my great grandmother died, she had to take care of the younger siblings, right? She had to act as the mother figure. So that's literally the nickname she had, the matriarch, you know. And it was always said like she decided things. You had, when it was the village festivals, you had to go to the house to say hello before you could go to the village festival. Like, that's the type of like powerful energy that we're talking, where people have to go kind of like around you. And maybe this sounds like a little bit imposing to you right now, very uncomfortable, because you're like, I don't have that type of presence. It's because you're growing into it. You're supposed to be the next example. But for that, you need to do some inner work and remove that scarcity mindset, that fear of wanting to lead, to be more powerful than other people, because you have a fear of being perceived, and that one standing in the way between you and your goals is literally gonna make your life so much more difficult, as well as delay things, but also self-sabotaging in a way. We have the 4 of Swords next. The name Elaine came up, literally written like the one from Akatar, like Eleain, and an E at the back. Was it? Yeah. So maybe Akatar could be significant to you, which is so funny because the star card just came up. So basically, for those that don't know, in Akatar, which is the book series, A Court of Thorns and Roses from Sarah J. Maas, there's the city called Villaris, the city of stars, and they have the saying in the book, I hope I remember it correctly by memory, to the stars who listen and the dreams that are answered, if I remember correctly. I have the quote on my Pinterest because I kind of like want to get it tattooed, but I don't know yet. But it's basically that your destiny, or like your fate, basically was kind of like already written in the stars. Like you were meant to be someone very, very great, someone that sets up the example, someone that leads, someone that just is the change. 11:11 on the timer right now, where everyone will remember you basically by name. Generations pass and pass, like could be like 5 to 10 generations later, and people will remember your name because it's gonna be passed down saying they did this, right? I know I spoke mostly like in with she and her pronouns, but could be anyone watching this basically. Like your name is gonna be set in stone. And I'm not saying like you do something like literally world-changing piece where you get a Nobel Prize, but like within family, it's gonna be remembered. Let me see if I can find it real quick. TTT, I think I have it, yeah. Oh, it's not the full one. Yeah, to the stars who listen and dreams that are answered. That's basically kind of like your destiny as well. And what I'm just hearing right now is, it's very interesting because my collective apparently is also connected with the teachers, where destiny swapping has been coming up a lot in her readings. And I personally, for me, I don't really think about it much, but I think it's mentioned there because it applies for someone here too, where people were kind of like jealous of you. They saw your potential and they were kind of like also manifesting against you in a way, hoping that you wouldn't get far, or you would always kind of like be stuck in like a struggle mindset, or just like your life would just go very like this instead of like shooting upright how it's meant to be, right? Because they don't want you to do better than them, because otherwise they will feel inferior. Because okay, very similar to my experience. So basically, like when you were born or before you were born, the destiny was kind of like already written down in a way. Like, you know, the energy can be felt before the person is born, right? So, and when there are powerful people, intuitive people, in this case, since I was talking about like a previous witch bloodline kind of, or like practitioners, obviously they will know. They knew that someone like you was gonna come. They were kind of like hoping for someone like you. But there are other people that are just not really happy. So I have this story of my mom's high school friend. One of her high school friends had premonitions and all that. She was very psychically in tune. So when my mother got pregnant with me, she gave my mother a protection bag, because she told my mother, saying like, there are people that are not going to be happy with the birth of this child because they feel threatened. So, as I said, destiny or fate in a way is kind of like already written, because there's different paths you can take, right? But that specific path that was also meant if I chose that, it would put so many people in a shadow. And that's why she said like she needs to be protected from early age on, right? Same with you. There were people that were not happy, which is why they were kind of like hoping, and I'm not saying like they did black magic or like cursed you or something like that. It was just, you know, manifesting, you know, the thoughts, hoping that you would never wake up to that power. And it's that. But that's what's happening right now. You are stepping into that power. We have the Queen of Wands here and the Star card, which is healing. And it's so bright. The Queen of Wands is someone that's very sure of her magic. She knows what she can do. She knows she can bring in huge change. So basically you're becoming so aware now that you can block that off. So everyone is the god of their own reality. So if in your reality you say no one can do me any harm energetically or with magic or with evil eye, whatever it is, I'm protected, then no one can do anything against you. That's the energy that you need to start embodying. That's the energy that you need to start claiming. Because for example, like I told you what happened for me when I started my spiritual journey and witchcraft journey, I did the usual protection stuff that they said, because they were always saying, you know, protect yourself. As soon as you become spiritual, other people will feel that. Protect yourself. And in the beginning, I'm not kidding you, I experienced a lot of energetic psychic attacks. And there came a point where I was like, absolutely not. I just refused to be cowering in fear for stepping into what I'm supposed to do. So I just started claiming they can do no harm. And since then, nothing happened. In general, I just also noticed energetically that they were kind of like weak. And when they sent like evil eye energy or like all that shit in my direction, I could repel it quickly. And energetically, I felt it was always the same person. I don't know who that is. I did not tap into that, but I know that it was always the same person. But as soon as I said they're not able to do that anymore, it stopped. So it also has to do with assumptions. So start saying no one can touch you. I personally have the personal belief that I'm untouchable in a way, and that's why I kind of like become invisible towards threats, because I'm petite, I can walk whenever I want. No one actually perceives me as like a easy target or something like that. And it's literally because I have that assumption and my energy mirrors that. So sometimes literally the most shady person can be very close. It's like they don't see me. And it's because I started practicing that. And I need you to do that too, because that means that they cannot energetically touch you anymore. So you don't have to be worrying constantly about like evil eye and all that, which I try to tell a lot of my friends. If you say they can't touch you, they can't touch you energetically. There's a barrier literally. So I need you to do that too, so that you can actually bloom and develop into this powerful person that you're meant to be. Let's see what the fairies are saying. Ooh, a lot. They have a lot to say. Okay, let me get that card because it fell down. Okay, we have springtime here. And we have daughter here, which could literally be the inner child, as I was talking about, where the stuff happened, right? This is just basically confirmation. So heal your inner child. A part of your inner child is a little bit scared and doesn't feel comfortable being seen, being perceived. You need to heal that version of you. Then we have letting go. Okay, this is here. I know I talked about like the past, basically people being against your existence, right? So what I also did, like, yeah, it sucks that that happened, and you know, it was crazy to hear how that happened basically, that there are people that basically don't want me to exist. But the thing is, remind yourself that they're NPCs in your life. They don't mean shit. Everyone around you basically is just there to serve you. And it sounds maybe a little bit cold, but that's how you can kind of like disconnect from everyone and just stop letting go and detach and just focus on yourself. Yes, they're not happy with your existence. They would love to see you fail, but instead of focusing that energy on them, you need to bring it back to you and call back that power. So let it go. It's something in the past. You do not have to be defined by that. Just start choosing your future the way you want it to unfold. And then also this one is kind of like basically loosely translated, it says prove yourself. And it's just, in this case, prove to yourself that you can be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. Like literally, reality can unfold in a way that you decide and say it's like this, this, and this. Prove that to yourself. If you know, and I think you do know deeply, that you're meant for greatness, act on it. We have springtime, so you could have been born during springtime, which would be Pisces, Aries, Taurus. Does Gemini fall into that? Yeah, Gemini as well, I think, is still, well, it's kind of like in the cusp between spring and summer, but yeah. But it could also be that something is gonna happen. It's not focusing. Something's gonna happen during the springtime. I'm hearing with the spring equinox, basically like literally after Ostara, if you practice the wheel of the year, is when you are gonna feel a upgrade. Like for my psychic out there, your psychic senses are gonna be the strongest. Also maybe because sentence, your clairvoyance or like clear hearing specifically is just gonna rise. Okay, let's look at the decision deck or advice deck. What do your ancestors want to say? Okay, we have pull through with it. And I think this is literally for your dreams or just life in general. Just do it. Literally, Nike, just do it. Maybe Nike is your favorite brand, I don't know. Okay, look for other alternative ways to achieve what it is that you want to. So this is basically saying the current you is evolving so fast, so you can't do things the usual way. You're not meant to do things always the same way. You need to step out of certain habits. Oh, this one's interesting. This one was flipped. It's gonna be fun. Romanticize this new path a little bit. You know how like reality adapts to what it is that you're thinking and saying? I said like I want 2026 to be super whimsical, and I'm like so into that belief and assumption that my whole For You page, more and more people are coming forward saying I want to make my 2026 more whimsical, and I'm like, yeah, reality has no choice then to reflect back what you say, right? So make it fun, romanticize it, let yourself be inspired by other people. Okay, let's see. One last card. There's one specific decision that you've been playing around and you cannot come to a conclusion. Spirit's saying sleep one more night over it or about it, and then the next morning you're gonna wake up with complete clarity and wake up literally coming up like this and be like, yes, okay, I'm gonna do it like this, or whatever the decision is. So I hope this gave you the clarity that you needed. How about a teacup to end this reading and claim it? What's the affirmation? I think for you the best affirmation right now is it is safe to step into my full authenticity. And I want you to keep repeating that whenever you doubt yourself, whenever you have a fear of being perceived or people judging you in a way, anchor that new story in with that affirmation. I will see you guys in the next reading. Until then, bye bye.